So, today is episode 3, and we are turning from hard slog into hard results today. Hey, love, you're listening to the Mums in Biz Show, and I'm Nick Torrey. Every week, I bring you the unvarnished version of what it means to be a mum running a brilliant business, what you need to be doing to get it to where you want it to be, and a healthy dose of how to get the heck out of your own way. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Mums in Biz Show. So, today is episode 3, and we are turning from hard slog into hard results today. I'm a bit excited about the content. I popped it all up this morning when I was planning it all out. And, you know, there are some really trying parts about being in business and being new in business, and that all kind of came back for me as I was sorting all of this out this morning and making out my notes. So I think you're going to really enjoy today. So, the hard slog of business. I would go out on a limb and say that we've all been in this position, but I can certainly say it from my own perspective, and that we've all been there where business just feels like a lot of hard work. And particularly in those early months and years where you wonder whether you're ever going to see the results from it. You wonder when you're going to feel like things are happening a bit more smoothly, when you're going to have confidence that these things that I'm doing on a regular basis are the right things to be doing, or that I know that they're going to result in increase in revenue or increase in visibility or a bigger or a greater ability to be able to get your message out there and have an impact on more lives. But it's hard sometimes, you know, you just feel like you're busy but never actually getting anywhere. That's what I mean when I'm talking about hard slog. And last week on the episode, if you scroll back through the feed, if you're not already signed up, or go to my website, www.nicoletueric.com/blog, and you'll be able to see last week's episode where I talked about the power of systems and getting systems in place in your business to help you have things flowing more easily, ways to take the complex out of what you're doing and just do what is really necessary. And so this week we're taking that a little bit further because it's all about focus. So if you want to turn from that place where it is a lot of hard work and you just feel like you're wading through mud constantly into actually getting results, you need to learn how to focus. Because when you know what to focus on and how to create that focus within your business and only work on the 5% of activities that actually move you forward rather than those 95% which keep us stuck, that's when you start to see a difference in the results that are coming through and feel different about your business. So I don't feel like I'm stuck in the busy all the time now because of the way that I think about how I'm doing things. And this has evolved for me over the last couple of months as well. As you know, this iteration of my business is pretty new. It's only been around since January. And so I've had to relearn and re-implement these things in my business as well. So let's get started with the content then. Now, the first thing is, what the heck are your 5% activities? So I like to think about things in chunks. That's just how I keep things organized in my mind. And so I'm always looking for a way that I can chunk things up. And for me, in terms of my business, that means thinking about things in terms of projects. And so I have projects which are ongoing. Like this show, for example, I think about the Mums in Biz show and doing my weekly training and getting that out to people who are on my email list so that they're getting value each week. That's a project, an ongoing project. My Facebook group, the Mums in Biz Tribe, is also an ongoing project in my business. And then I have projects that are about growth. And so the 5-day challenge that I was just talking about, that's a project that I'm doing at the moment that's part of a launch activity. I'm planning a free webinar that I'm going to be advertising in a week or so, and that's another project. And so I think about things in terms of projects because it helps me to organize it in my head. And it also helps me to ensure that the projects that I decide to do in my business are 5% activity or 5% projects. And what I mean by that is it's a project that is either increasing your visibility now, so online for your list growth, maybe it's in face-to-face networking, perhaps that's a way that you build your business really successfully, or about directly growing your business. Again, that might be list or contact growth and most often revenue growth. And so if it's an activity that doesn't contribute to one of those two things, it's not a 5% activity. And it can be really hard to let go of some of those other activities. Don't get me wrong, there are lots and lots and lots of things that are important in business, but when you're time poor, which is pretty much the case for just about everybody who is a mum in business, I know you have competing demands on your time. I know I do. I was trying to respond to an urgent query this morning with a 20-month-old bouncing on my lap because she didn't want to get down. She just wanted a cuddle. And so I was typing with one hand, not the hand that I normally am able to type with, trying to resolve it. I completely get it. And so when we're in that sort of place, then you want to be able to just focus on the things that are going to really have the impact for you. And that's what I mean by 5%. And so once you figure out what those 5% are for you and for your business, you want to plan that around the goals that you've got set and balance the time and effort that you've got available across those short and long-term activities. So what on earth am I talking about there? First off, let's start with this. Do you have a time-bound and financially measurable goal for your business? If the answer to that question is no, then we need to stop right now and you need to pause this video and you need to start and think about what that is, because it's the start of the financial year. It's a perfect time to be resetting your goals and relooking at those. And while I think that it is incredibly important that you have your vision in place, that you understand the purpose and impact you want to be making, and that you know what the ideal life is that you're working towards, I think that as mums in business, we're very, very connected to those things, and we need those things to be connected to our business for us to have the right motivation to be able to move forward. It all has to come back to a time-bound, financially measurable goal, because ultimately you are in business, yes, to have an impact, but also to make money. Even if you're a not-for-profit, you still have to make money to cover your costs and then be able to reinvest into the community support activities or whatever your business is. Businesses must make money for some reason. So you must have a goal and it must be really measurable. But then once you've got that, thinking about what are you doing to improve your profile? Where do you need to have a profile? How do your ideal clients know how to find you and what you stand for? You need to figure that out. And then you need to have a plan around how you can increase your message, whether that's blogging, guest posting, going live, doing webinars, attending network events. Face-to-face networking is really important, and we get so caught up in this online world and we forget to have that face-to-face connection. And for some businesses, that is absolutely essential. Doing guest presenting or training and things like that in a face-to-face or a seminar type environment can be really important. But the point is that you choose one or two that you're going to do regularly and create that as a project, and then that's your long-term 5% project. So I'm saying if you're really time poor, you have to have one or two projects that you focus on that are building your long-term growth, and those are typically visibility, profile, and network, whether it's your email list or a physical contact network. That needs to be a part of your 5% activity. And then the second area where you want to have focus for your 5% activity is having a plan around how you're going to hit your revenue goals. And so those are the more short-term ones, right? Okay, I've got, if this is my annual goal, then this is how it breaks down by quarter or 90-day plans. And then this is how it breaks down by month. How am I going to hit that? What am I going to sell that month? How am I going to sell it? Am I doing a promotion? Do I have specific activities around lead generation or follow-up? These are your short-term 5% projects. So again, an example, the 5 days to your next 1K challenge that I'm doing right now, that's an example of a short-term project that I'm doing. And you will have those as well. And so when you're really time poor, then you're able to go, okay, I know that when I've only got an hour available, there are two things that are my number one priority that I need to solve for first. And that is that I've got something happening around my long-term visibility project, and I've got something happening about my short-term revenue project. And now I know that, okay, as long as I've got those going, I can deal with the rest of it when I get time, but when I'm super time poor, those things are going to keep my business moving. Does that make sense? What I have found is that when I work in this way, a lot of the extra guff falls away. Also, it's really important and a lot easier for me to be able to delegate things and to see through all of the muddy water, really, sometimes, which are the things that are easier for me to let go of. And actually, do you know what? I do need to get someone to help me with that, a VA or something like that. And so I'll talk to that a little bit more. If you're unsure about that short-term revenue goal piece, please join the challenge, because you will get a really simple process you can put in place to sort of say, okay, I want to make this much money. How do I make a plan to be able to do that? That will enable you to start to practice that and put that in place in your business. And so once you've done that, once you've got your 5% projects sorted out, you know what the things are that you need to focus on, then you need to practice actually focusing on the important stuff. So this is the last piece of the puzzle, because we get so distracted by the noise. I get distracted by the noise. I know that pretty much all of the people that I speak to as clients really struggle with this as well, and I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that you probably do too. It's online noise. It's literal noise from our children. It's, the constant demands that come from the people in our networks. If you are doing a part-time or a full-time job alongside your business as well as mum life and all of those things, then it's the noise that comes from that and the demands and expectations. It's admin and wasting time on social media and all of these sorts of things. In today's society, we are so plagued by demands for our attention and our time, and it's so rewarded to be multitasking constantly and to be busy and splitting our time 6 ways. And it's had this impact on us that we have the shortest attention spans in human history. And I don't think that's something to be proud of. And so that's why you see the rise of the mindfulness approach now, and because people are having to retrain themselves to be able to focus and to be able to let some of that noise just fall away and really focus in on the things that are super important for them. So if this is you, one of the things that you can do is start to practice the art of focus, and that starts with taking the noise out of life. And so if you just simplifying your business. So we were talking about systems in your business last week, and that was about simplifying your business, but that's not enough. You need to simplify your life as well. And so if you were, and I will put a free sheet into the show notes for you to help you work through this process. It's about looking at all of the roles that you're filling in life, all of the expectations that you're placing on yourself, and just take out 3 to 5 of them. And somebody gave me an analogy once. It was one of the partners that I was working with at the time in my corporate job, and he was leaving. And I commented on, how much we were going to miss him. And he said, Nick, me leaving, and anybody leaving really, it's just like taking your arm out of a bucket of water. You literally can't see that it wasn't there. And so the visual image of water replacing your hand as you removed it out of a bucket had such an effect on me, because it's true. We feel like it's so essential, and we would be letting people down, and we can't possibly stop doing these things, when in actual fact there is somebody who will be able to, and is potentially waiting to step up to fill that role. And there's probably somebody who's watching you who would love to see someone set an example of how it is possible to stop doing something because it doesn't work for their life. So being the soccer coach for your kids' team, or maybe volunteering at tuck shop, or you may choose to do one less social activity. You may choose to go to a few less family events or something like that. I don't know. I mean, there's always sometimes a family event that we might not want to go to anyway. But being able to take some of those things out of your life and really just go, do you know what? If my priorities are these 2 or 3 things, for me personally, that was number 1, my husband and my children, and being able to be present for them. I need to keep my work there, but I don't want to be contributing anything extra to that than I absolutely have to, and I've got a good balance around that now, and my business. And those are the priorities for us right now, and we chose that together. And so the other things that we get involved in doing, I don't feel guilty saying no to those, because I know I've got my priorities sorted and I'm a finite resource. There is only one of me. I can't spread myself around. I've tried. It doesn't work. I fall apart. So take the noise out of your life, say no to some things, and look at the stuff that you've got going on so that you can create space to then sit down and focus on these 5% activities in your business. I know it's really easy to say that. It takes practice, and you need to be really deliberate about that time that you reclaim by going through that, to repurpose that to focus on just one project. Just start small and say, okay, I'm going to be really deliberate about here's an example. I didn't start out doing weekly training called the Mums in Biz Show. I started out with a blog, and then I added in my Facebook group. And once I found I was able to cope with that, I started doing the training on a weekly basis. And once I found that I really enjoyed that, and you guys said that you were getting value out of it, I went, you know what? If that's something I love, then I can make that corner piece of my marketing strategy. Let me give it a name and we'll do something with that. And so it kind of has evolved. So that's what I'm suggesting for you too, is find that piece of your business which is impactful. It's a 5% activity, and you can evolve it from there. So that's what I recommend to look at, to refocus and start turning that really hard slog in your business into results. So just let me recap. You're going to be looking at your 5% activities and working out what those are. You're going to think about it in terms of projects, so that you've got a finite bucket of things that you're working on in each space. 1 or 2 for long-term visibility and ensuring that you've got stuff coming down the road, and 1 or 2 for hitting your short-term revenue goals. And then you're going to remove some of the noise from your life and focus on that really important stuff and practice that mindful focus. And that's a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoy listening to the Mums in Biz Show, I would love for you to leave us a review on iTunes, and be sure to post a snap of you enjoying the show on Instagram and tag me at nicole.tuerick. You can also join in the conversation with me in the Mums in Biz tribe on Facebook. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Mums in Biz Show.